Neil from Essex here to take you around one of my backyard projects. A while ago, I had used this sprayer in the back of my Kubota RTV. I dropped it into the bed and could use it in order to spray chemicals around my yard and property. And as years have gone by here, I have sold my RTV because of supply chain issues, have been unable to replace it. Even I can't get equipment sometimes, believe it or not. I decided that it was going to be a better fit for me to try to put this on the back of my tractor, and I investigated ways to do that and kind of figured that maybe a 3-point hitch set of pallet forks would be the best way to go about doing that. Now, got a little bit of an adventure I've gone on here. Now, as you may be aware, there is a proliferation of cheap tractor junk floating around the internet, and for me, that seemed like exactly what I needed, right? I need a piece of cheap tractor junk to make this sprayer work. It ended up being pretty complicated.
Essex, a helping hand with your land.
So what I ended up picking up here was a set of Avor 3-point hitch pallet forks. For all of $239, I thought I could solve this problem. And you can see here that I did to a point, but where I struggle and stumble here a little bit is that this little mounting here isn't really pallet forks at all. When you get into some of these really cheap Chinese pallet forks, I would hesitate to call them actually forks. The assembly that comes out here the front isn't really actually a cast fork at all. It's actually a piece of box tubing with a little 90-degree point put on the end. Now, that's a really inexpensive way here to make this piece, this fork, in order to, say, lift something, but it ends up being really abnormally thick, and that caused a problem here when I tried to put my sprayer on it. My sprayer has fork pockets in it, and those fork pockets are sized for the proper pallet forks that I have on the front of my tractor. Works out great. I can, slide my forks into that pocket, lift my sprayer up, move it around, drop it in the back of my RTV. It was a great setup. But when I took these forks and tried to use them as forks, they didn't work. Because they're so thick, they didn't fit into the fork pockets. So I don't know what else you would call this, but it's certainly not a fork. The next problem I ran into was the left to right adjustability of the forks. Normally when you have forks on a pallet fork frame, you're going to be able to slide them back and forth in order to fit the width of whatever it is that you're trying to pick up. These claimed to be slidable, to be adjustable. They're adjustable pallet forks, but when you look here, the way that these go together here with this tube on this box section and bolt to hold it in place, there's no way to actually push these things in to make them remotely narrow. There's no way to get this fork piece on the inside of the supportive box structure here. So again, when I took my sprayer, I could easily pick it up with my pallet forks, but I had to jimmy it up with some pieces of wood here in order to center it in the middle of this thing in order to be able to pick it up at all. So not only did my forks not fit, they also couldn't be spaced properly to pick up the sprayer. So why do I tell you this? I've got mixed feelings a little bit on all this stuff pouring out on the internet from overseas companies. There can be great utility in some of these things and affordability, right? If I didn't have a $200 option here in order to solve this problem, I may not even try, right? So it's cool that some of this stuff exists. I struggle though a little bit with the terminology that's used because calling these things pallet forks is completely inappropriate. Other than having two pointy things coming out the back, there's nothing here that you should refer to these things as pallet forks. I don't think you could use them to pick up a pallet, right, in a lot of cases. So a little bit of buyer beware here. I have a link down here in the description that takes you to these things if you want to take a look at them. They might have use on your tractor. This isn't the kind of stuff that dealerships like us typically get involved in, and so it's not bad to be aware that some of it's out there. I hope that if it happens to make sense for you, it might have some utility on your tractor. And at the same time, I hope too that you're able to look at this kind of stuff and pause for a moment, maybe a little longer than I did, and understand exactly what it is that you're buying. So if you're shopping for a piece of equipment and we can help, if you have parts and service needs for equipment you've already got, give us a call at Essex. We're available at 800-222-3373 or online at Essex.com. Neil from Essex here to take you around one of my backyard projects.